I'm Governor Larry Hogan. Our state is taking unprecedented and aggressive actions in the fight to stop the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Maryland. As you know, I recently issued a stay-at-home directive to ensure that no Marylander leaves his or her home unless it is for an essential job or for an essential purpose. I know how difficult this is on each and every one of you. There's a great deal of fear and anxiety, and the truth is that none of us really know how bad this is going to get or how long it's going to last. But I can promise you that there are a great many dedicated people doing tremendous things, working around the clock, and doing their very best to help keep Marylanders safe. In the days to come, we're going to need to depend on each other, to look out for one another, and to take care of each other, because we are all in this together, and we will get through this together.
This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, keeping you informed about the happenings in Annapolis and the area. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and of course, local weather. The Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Yesterday afternoon at about 1:15, the Annapolis Fire Department was called to Bladen and Calvert Streets in downtown Annapolis for a reported gas leak and a possible flash fire. When they arrived, they did find a strong odor of gas, but there was no active fire, and after a little bit of investigation, they found it was a gas leak. BG&E was called, and they discovered a 4-inch underground gas main had been struck. Crews did stay on the scene till about 3:30, and BG&E wrapped up their work at about 7 p.m. last night. All the streets around the Capitol were blocked, and the State House, as well as several government buildings, were all evacuated. Yesterday afternoon, Superintendent George Arlotto announced that there will be no proms for the class of 2020 this year. Obviously, this is in response to the COVID-19 pandemic that is going on, and quite a disappointment for the class of 2020. He did say that he is excited about ongoing planning for events to celebrate the members of the class of 2020, but he didn't really elaborate what they were. High school graduation ceremonies, which are set to begin on May 29th, have not yet been canceled. However, they are looking into possibly transforming graduation into a virtual venue. They're going to be making that decision in the near future. After Governor Hogan's orders to the Health Department to release the information on nursing home deaths and infections with the COVID-19 virus, we get a little bit more insight here locally in Arundel County. All told, there are 256 confirmed COVID-19 cases, including 19 deaths here at Arundel County nursing homes. The breakdown looks like this. At Future Care of Chesapeake, which is in Arnold, there were 71 cases with 16 deaths. Crofton Care and Rehab Center, 43 cases with 9 deaths. Genesis Waughchapel, 38 cases with 6 deaths. South River Health and Rehab Center, 27 cases with 5 deaths. Fairfield Nursing and Rehab Center in Crownsville, 25 cases with 6 deaths. Heritage Harbor Health and Rehab, 23 with 5. Marley Neck Health and Rehab, 9 with 1. North Arundel Health and Rehab, 9 with 2. The Harbor at Ginger Cove, 5 with no deaths. Genesis at Severna Park Center, 3 with 1 death. The Arbor, which is Baywoods here in Annapolis, 2 with no deaths. And Genesis at the Spot Creek Center, 1 with no deaths. In a statement, Health Officer Nilesh Kalanaraman had said residents of nursing homes amount for more than half of the COVID-19 deaths in the county, and we are taking additional action to protect our most vulnerable populations, the elderly and those with chronic conditions. And the woes do continue for the Department of Labor. I'm not sure how much longer they can continue this, but last night they sent out a memo to people that are looking to file for unemployment with instructions on how to create a username and a password. The memo said the Maryland Department of Labor's Division of Unemployment Insurance has received a number of questions and comments from Marylanders about difficulties they are experiencing with usernames and passwords. To help ensure that Maryland's new and existing claimants can access the new Beacon One Stop, we have created a username and password handbook. You can access this new resource by visiting, and it's got a URL there. If you have any other technical questions, email them to beacon.support@maryland.gov, and that was signed by Assistant Secretary Dane Freeman. When you clicked on the link, it didn't load, which is not really too much of a surprise considering how the Department of Labor's websites have been working for the past weeks. When it finally did load, 13 pages. I might suggest that if you need a 13-page manual on how to create a username and a password, this is not the most simple system that we could possibly have. Not by a long shot. All right, and let's wrap it up with some great news here. Galway Bay, Boru, Killarney House, and Pirates Cove are all back in business. They were open for a little bit when they first shut down, trying to figure out what they were going to do. Then they ended up closing because it just wasn't working out well. They have sort of retooled, and they are opening again. Killarney House will be opening a little bit later on today. Galway Bay, Boru, and Pirates Cove will come online Thursday. It will be a curbside pickup at all the restaurants, and they do suggest that you go to their online ordering system, order and pay in advance so that way your contact is minimized when you get to the restaurant. Killarney House is going to be doing things a little bit differently. They're going to be testing a full-on drive-through, which seems interesting. You're going to be able to pre-order and pick up, just like I had mentioned, or you're going to be able to drive up, order, and wait for the order. They've got a little bit of room in the parking lot so they can do that there. They are also introducing new technology which will allow you to contactlessly. They do have some specials for Mother's Day, which is coming up. I didn't realize that. That's coming up in about 13 days. They also mentioned that this pandemic is having some far-reaching consequences. They are having some problems with the food supply chain, which we've all heard about the news, and it may result in some unpredictable availability for their menus. Okay, again, the key to that one is to make sure that you check their website because that will be updated there. All right, that does it for us today for the news. Please make sure you're checking out eyeonannapolis.net throughout the day for additional news and updates on these because we do update it throughout the day. If you're someplace you can give us a rating or a review, please do that as well. And make sure your friends and family and colleagues all know how to get podcasts and recommend this one. Other than that, hang tight. We've got George Young with your local DMV weather forecast coming up in just 1 minute. But first, a message from Solar Energy Services.
Hello, Marylanders. This is Rick Peters from Solar Energy Services in Millersville, Maryland, wishing you good health and a rapid return to prosperity. Uncertainty is one of the hardest parts of our current situation. As we move towards our new normal, you may want to consider adding more certainty to your financial future by locking in the low cost of clean solar energy. The economics of solar are tremendous, and there's no better source than the trusted team at Solar Energy Services. Residential solar projects typically earn the homeowner 8 to 12% annually over the life of the system, with even better returns for commercial systems. If you have some downtime now, take advantage of our powerful remote design capabilities, allowing one of our experienced solar designers to provide a presentation, followed by a detailed, accurate proposal, all from a safe distance. Call us today at 410-923-6090 or visit us at solarsaves.net. Sunshine's are wasted, but together we'll get through this.
Sunshine, sunshine, nothing else can make me feel so fine.
Going out? You need the most up-to-date local weather. Here's George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis with today's forecast.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and this is your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Wednesday, April 29th. Yesterday was another chilly, below-average late April day for the Annapolis region, with highs about 10 degrees below normal. But today will be a nice reprieve as rain will hold off until late night tonight, or even the overnight hours into Thursday morning, which will allow for a fair amount of sunshine and temps 70-plus degrees for all of Arundel County, ahead of a rainstorm that will bring 1 to 2 inches or more of rain on Thursday into Friday, with temps each day in the upper 60s to lower 70s, ahead of what should be a very nice weekend for the first weekend in May with sunshine and 70 to 75 degrees for highs on Saturday, before more sunshine and even slightly warmer temps into the mid to upper 70s on Sunday. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young of DMV Weather. Make it a great day out there. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to get our free app on all of your devices by searching DCMD VA Weather in the Apple or Google App Store. And also be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter and use our website at dmvweather.com so you can always stay weather informed.
This is Brian Griffiths, the founder of Maryland Podcast Month. Maryland Podcast Month was founded in 2018 to draw attention to all of the great podcasts and podcasters here in Maryland. And during this time of social distancing, there is no better time to start learning more about locally produced podcasts. Shows like my podcast, Red Maryland Radio, Eye on Annapolis, the Conduit Street Podcast, JB's Drive-In Podcast, the Maryland Crabs, Quality Time, the Society Fringe Players, and more are still putting out fresh content. Visit MarylandPodcastMonth.com to learn more about these great Maryland podcasts. That's MarylandPodcastMonth.com. And we thank you for your support of local content.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m., keeping you informed with the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. And take a moment to listen to our other podcast, The Maryland Crabs, released every Thursday at noon.